Hi everyone and welcome to today's video, which is my pregnancy themed Q&A. So now I am 25, nearly 26 weeks pregnant. I let you guys submit your questions about pregnancy and trying to conceive. I'm going to see if I can whip through these as fast as possible. So the first one is, do you think having 2 kids via IVF first helped set your body up for conceiving baby number 3 with letrozole, or what were you doing differently that you think helped with letrozole? So I don't think having IVF per se is what helped with my letrozole cycle. I do believe that obviously having the 2 kids before this letrozole cycle definitely helped. I think by then your body's kind of done it before, your hormones change. It has been 8 years since I did Clomid, and it's been a few years since I did my last cycle of IVF, so I definitely think my hormones have definitely changed. It was just, well, it did just seem to be a ovulation issue with us getting pregnant. We're having PCOS, and I also think it was a cervical mucus issue. So once we got all the balance of those things right, it just seemed like my body did want to get pregnant. So, and I've heard great things about letrozole. Letrozole has worked with so many women where Clomid hasn't, and I think a big issue with Clomid compared to letrozole is that Clomid can muck around with your fertile cervical mucus, whereas letrozole doesn't affect that. So I think letrozole is a great way to go if Clomid hasn't worked for you. But I personally think that using a sperm-friendly lubricant and the fact that I had two children before and it's changed my hormones and everything, I think that is definitely what helps set up for a successful cycle with Femara. Have you taken Femara with your previous IV attempts, or was it always with injectables? So this year, 2016, was the very first time I'd ever taken Femara / letrozole. I've never taken it before. When we did our IVF cycles, it was always with Puragon or Gonal F. And also you asked, Femara may have higher risk of defects in the child. Did your doctor discuss those risks? No, he may have, but I don't recall him saying anything about any birth defects. And any fertility drug you take, I think there are always those risks. I mean, in the whole scheme of things, I think fertility treatment is still a fairly new thing. I think IVF first came out in the 60s or something like that. So the kids that are growing up from those first IVF cycles are still only in their 50s, so we haven't got a whole lifespan of detecting anything that may go wrong with kids that are born through IVF and Femara and Clomid and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's always risks, no matter what there is risks, but those risks are so small. And if my doctor had said that there was risks, I think we would have done it anyway. How do you feel about having another little boy? Did you want more boys than girls, or did you not mind as long as baby was healthy? When we were trying for baby number 2, I desperately wanted that girl. I'm a girly girl myself, and I've always envisioned having a little girl. It was nothing against Roman, it was just the fact that A, we had our little boy, 2, we weren't sure if we were ever going to have the chance of having any more children. I mean, with the fertility treatment side of things, you just don't know how many kids you're going to get. If you get 1, you're extremely lucky. If you get 2, you're even more lucky. The fact that we're on to our 3rd is just crazy. So with Mila Rose, I was desperate to get that little girl, just because then we had our complete family. You know, we had a boy and a girl, and it would be wonderful, and I could experience both. Yeah, so that was really cool. This time round was the first time in trying to conceive where it really didn't matter, and I felt so good about that. When we found out that it was a boy, I was ecstatic. It really I felt a relief to know that in my heart it really didn't matter, and I was excited to be pregnant either way. What contraception will you go on after baby is born? That's a good question, because Martin and I have discussed that, or more me discussing it to Martin. He doesn't want to get a vasectomy, and it's not got anything to do with his manhood or fear of the procedure or anything like that. To him, he's like, we have done so much to conceive these kids. He's like, we've gone through so much, and we've spent so much money, and we've gone through all this treatment. Why the heck would I want to try and prevent pregnancy? And here I am going, I think we should be a little bit more sensible than that. Like, we we're on to our third. I'm not convinced I want a fourth. If it were to happen, it would be a surprise. It certainly wouldn't be planned. Yeah, so he doesn't want to get a vasectomy. I refuse to go on any sort of hormonal birth control because I was on that for a lot of my teenage years. It made me gain a lot of weight, and I just feel like I have been through so much of pumping hormones through my body over the past 8 years doing fertility treatment. I just had enough. I don't want to take any more pills. I don't want to like watch my cycles and regulate things. And to be honest, when you're in a marriage, and this is gonna be TMI, but when you're in a marriage, like getting in the mood and then having to stop for condoms and things like that, it just seems very like a teenage thing. You know, when you've been married for like 8 years and you've got 3 kids, it's like, do you really want to use condoms? Not really. So I think the likelihood of us having a natural pregnancy is very low. I mean, there's still the chance, and I said to Martin, if this baby gets to school and we still don't have another baby, he has no choice. He has to get a vasectomy. Also, if I do happen to get pregnant with the 4th child, he also then has to have a vasectomy. So basically, after this child's born, we've got like 5 years. And in that 5 years, if there happens to be a surprise, so be it. If not, get that snip, Martin. What has been your favourite thing about the trying to conceive and infertility journey? Number one, first and foremost, is it's been an incredible thing to look back on. I am so glad that we decided to film everything from day dot. I have this amazing online diary now, and I think the fact that we put it on YouTube, that has been my favorite thing about the TTC and infertility journey, was the fact that I have this story that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. And luckily the story came with a happy ending. I mean, I know lots of journeys don't, but ours came out with a really happy ending, and I can look back on this for the rest of my life because I decided to put it on YouTube. And I think that's really special. If you could do it all again, would you do everything the same? Absolutely. I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Like, looking back now, I'm like, wow, that was an incredible, crazy journey. Like, I am so grateful that we got to go through that. And of course I can say that because we've been successful. Like I said, we got the fairy tale ending, so I can say that. But if someone said to me that you're going to end up with the same result, you're going to end up having 3 kids, but you can change how they'll conceive, you can just conceive spontaneously without any medication or anything, would you do that? My answer would be no, because look at what I have now from going through everything we've been through. It's something that I hold on to. It's been a huge part of my life and Martin's for the past 8 years. It has been pregnancy, fertility treatment, pregnancy, baby, fertility treatment, you know, like the past 8 years has been there, and I don't think I would change a thing. Like visiting the fertility clinic, taking injections and getting egg collections and doing pregnancy tests, the whole thing, I wouldn't change it. I definitely wouldn't change it. I mean, to get to where we are now, it was all so worth it. Were your cravings different with all 3, or were boys and girls different? My cravings have pretty much been the same. It's always just been sweets, sugar, ice cream. Although Roman's pregnancy and this pregnancy, I had a bit more of a craving for cheese, whereas Mila Rose's pregnancy I didn't. So it must be a boy thing, but I just all of a sudden heightened sense for really wanting cheese. This pregnancy, however, is the first time I have been completely adverse to eggs, especially scrambled eggs. Even the smell, I'm just like, ugh. Were your symptoms different for boys and girls? So definitely, that's how I knew that I was carrying a boy this time around, because the pregnancy was spot on similar to Roman's. I just knew it. Mila Rose, I had very few symptoms, especially in early pregnancy. I didn't get morning sickness with her or anything like that. The boys, very similar pregnancies. This one was worse, but I just felt it was very running along the same lines as how Roman's pregnancy went down, and even with my health it seems to be following the same pattern. Do you plan to do anything different with this labour and birth? Things about your other deliveries that you would change. I always joke that this labor and birth, I just want to, you know, get to the hospital and give birth in the car park or something like that. But with my health being the way it is, it's obviously not going to happen. It's probably going to end up being another induction. But comparing Roman and Mila Rose's births, Mila Rose's is spot on the best one. Roman, I had an epidural, I tore badly, I kind of laid around and just slept a bit. Mila Rose's, I was there, I was lucid, I was, you know, able to make decisions about what was happening. It felt like I was there for her labor and delivery. Roman's, I felt very, even though I was high on gas in Mila Rose's pregnancy, labor and birth, Roman's, I just felt like I didn't have any control over anything. This labor and birth, I want it to be completely whatever happens. That's kind of like my birth plan this time around. I just want to get in the bath, give me some gas in the air, and we'll see how we go. And I just want to snuggle that baby so bad. So basically, the only difference this time around is that I just want everything to be very chilled. I want to try and maybe do things even more naturally than what I did with Mila Rose. Maybe dim the lights a little bit. I mean, Mila Rose's pregnancy, I had immediate skin to skin. We had delayed cord clamping. We had all of that amazing good stuff already. So I'm hoping to just do all that again in this pregnancy and maybe just keep things as natural as possible. Will you be vlogging this wee man's birth? Absolutely. The only difficulty this time around is we're just going to have to take a tripod because only Martin and I will be in this delivery. We're not having any friends or family or anything like that. It's just going to be us this time. So I think it definitely will be filmed. It'll just be, hopefully Martin can manage looking after me and filming at the same time. We'll figure something out. We got any names picked out, and someone else said, would you consider giving the first initial? We're having a really hard time getting a name for this baby, and I have a feeling this baby is going to be one of those kids who's nameless for like the first 30 days after their birth. We do have one name or one or two names that we're kind of throwing around at the moment. Nothing has felt like the one yet. I've got a name that if at the end of the day we've still got nothing, I'll just give him that name. But yeah, we're really struggling, so I can't even give you a first initial because we're still not 100% on a name yet. Did you breastfeed your two oldest? Yes, I did. What were your struggles and how long did you breastfeed exclusively for? So Mila Rose, so we breastfed for 11 months and 7 months of those were exclusively. Roman, he breastfed for 10 months and he exclusively breastfed for 4 or 5 months. I think he started solids around that time. And the struggles I had was Mila Rose was an on again off again in the learning stages, which eventually came right. I've never had milk supply issues. I've never had mastitis. I've never had, in fact, I've always oversupplied, and Roman was always gasping for air because my letdown was just so strong and there was just so much milk. So I've never had supply issues. I'm hoping this time around, if I had the same thing of oversupply, that I can start donating to people in my area. There is a Facebook page where hopefully I can start sending milk to people if I have that problem again. Roman, he had a hard time learning. I had to eventually feed him from a spoon because he was just getting so exhausted from trying to breastfeed. But once we got those latching things down, not a problem. Are you excited to be at the peak of your pregnancy during summer? I am. At first I thought, oh man, this is really gonna suck, it's gonna be so hot. But because we're now at the end of November and it is still miserable weather and it's not really summer yet, I had my heater on the other day. Like, this is making me look forward to being really fat and pregnant in the middle of summer, because it makes me think maybe summer is actually gonna come, because looking outside now I'm like, where are you, summer? Would you say you carry your bump differently with the boys than Mila Rose? This bump is definitely a lot smaller, and I'd say a lot lower, but he is measuring a bit small, which is probably showing, you know, my bump I don't feel as big. Mila Rose I felt was more, I widened this way, whereas Roman, he was a bit more pointy outwards. So yeah, and this pregnancy too, I feel like I'm going a bit wider rather than out. What are your hospital bag must-haves? If you're a big breasted woman like me, or even a little breasted woman actually, a boppy. A breastfeeding pillow is my #1 must have, because when you're in those learning stages of breastfeeding and you're trying to get your baby to latch and stuff, it hurts your arms and you're sore, and all of that stuff. It's just so comfortable to have this pillow that you can just kind of smush your baby into and hoist them up a bit. I could not go anywhere without my boppy in those early days and at the hospital. And secondly, food. Oh my gosh, sometimes you're just so starving because you only get fed breakfast, lunch and dinner, you know, and in the middle of that you're like, I'm starving. So pack food. Oh my gosh, I know they're the most random things I'm telling you to pack. Whatever you want, just, I think it's, I'm packing a lot of food this time. And don't overpack. I've overpacked both babies. This time I won't be overpacking at all. It's funny what you actually need, which is some clothes, nappies, pads, breast pads, and a change of clothes. That's really all you need. What is your most and least favorite part of being pregnant? My least favorite part of being pregnant is definitely the morning sickness. When I was trying for a baby, I was like, I'll give anything to have morning sickness, you know, when people would complain about having it. Yeah, no, it's actually horrible. That is definitely the least favorite part of being pregnant. Just the constant feeling is really awful. So that's my least favorite part. My most favorite part of being pregnant is the anticipation. Just the anticipation of waiting to find out what this person looks like and just can't wait to hold them. It's like this present. You've got this wrapped present sitting under the Christmas tree, except the Christmas tree's there for 9 months and you've got to stare at that wrapped present for 9 whole months before you can see what's inside. Will you go on a baby moon before bub arrives? Because I'm due on the 3rd of March, so I'm probably going to have my baby in February sometime. I'm really not sure there's going to be time for a baby moon. We've got the Christmas break, then we've got the New Year's break, and then in there I've got 2 weddings to go to in the weekends, plus I have my maternity photo shoot, plus I have my baby shower. That pretty much takes up every weekend until I'm actually due. So if we were to go on a baby moon, it would have to be during the week, which means Martin would have to take time off work. And I really would rather he didn't, because I want him to have that time for when baby's first born. I mean, if we can squeeze in a tiny little baby moon, even if it was just for a night, I would absolutely love to do it. But it would be local, it wouldn't be anything flash, it would just probably be time with each other. Even if we went to a movie, that would be wonderful. Have you managed your weight during the TTC phase, as I'm struggling to lose weight to get pregnant? Really find someone to keep you accountable, which for me was Weight Watchers. I managed to lose 10 kilos on Weight Watchers back in 2009 when I, the year before we started IVF. Trying to conceive, especially if you're on treatment, really makes you gain weight, especially in IVF, excuse me. Weight is a hard thing, especially if you've got problems that don't help with weight, PCOS, thyroid problems, etc, etc. So the best thing I can do is say get on a program, because doing it on your own is really hard. People scoff at programs like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all of those, but I think Weight Watchers really helped me because it did keep me accountable, because I actually had to go face to face with someone. And I also liked it because you can technically eat whatever you want, you've just got to track everything. It makes you see what you're eating. It's wonderful. I really am an advocate for going for something like Weight Watchers. And the very last question, now that you have become pregnant without IVF, do you think back and wish Famara was an option for you when you were going through IVF? To be honest, I'm not sure. It's hard. I'm not sure if Famara would have worked back then. I think my body has gone through so many changes over the past 8 years that it's now in a favorable position for something like that to work. Whereas back 8 years ago, maybe there was something else wrong. Life changes, just time, my body's changed, I'm getting older and things. You'd think it'd be worse, but I'm really not sure if Famara would have worked back then or not. And I don't even know if it was available in my country back then, because it's actually a breast cancer treatment, I think is what it is. So even if I had wanted to back in 2008, I'm not sure if it was available back in 2008. But at the end of the day, like I kind of answered before, I'm glad things have panned out the way they have, because I look back on my journey now and I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited that I got to share this journey with you guys. If I'd just taken some Famara back in 2008 and got pregnant, you guys would never have met me, I would never have met you, I wouldn't have this amazing journey. So I'm kind of grateful in a way that I didn't get Famara, and that I didn't get pregnant straight away. It sounds really bizarre, but because I have that happy ending, I'm grateful as to how things panned out. Sorry that took so long, guys. There were a lot of questions. I hope I answered them well enough for you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited to be going through this pregnancy with you guys. Not long to go now. Make sure you put your comments below if you have any questions or just something to say. Make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already to watch the rest of this journey to meeting baby number 3. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next vlog. Alright.